Hi everyone, welcome to another video. In today's video, I will be doing Copic markers versus the Touch 5 markers. So some of you guys know I've been using Touch 5 markers ever since I purchased markers that weren't Crayola. And then just recently I bought the Copic markers just not too long ago. And I decided to do a review on both of them and let you guys know my thoughts on these markers. I've written down facts about both of these and the differences between them and what's not, and so I will be reviewing that today. So the Copic markers starting price is $285.81. I got these off of eBay for a set of 72 and it came with a box and everything. That's how I got these markers. While I was with the Touch 5 markers, I got them at $37 at Wish, and the shipping was $10 for these. This one had free shipping, and like I said, I purchased this on eBay, and these I purchased on Wish, and I got a set of 80 markers, so I got 8 more markers in this set than this, and these ones came in a little fabric baggie, whereas these were in a box. So as you can tell with the Copic markers, it has this oval shape to it in order to grip it, and while the Touch 5 markers, they have like this squared shape to it, and both, you know, you can't really roll them. If I accidentally hit it, it's not gonna roll. Same with the Copic markers. I mean, if you push them with full force, they're gonna roll. I actually like both about them is that they don't roll off the table, while my cheap miscellaneous markers do. Another difference between them is this one has a brush nib, and then of course the chiseled nib on the other side, and this one has a fine nib, so it's very pointed and small, while also having the chiseled nib. Also, the nibs on both of these, the chiseled part, this one is smaller than this one, and so I actually like that the Copic has the small chiseled nib on it. I prefer that over this very large one. And if you hear my cat, he is meowing at me and he just wants to go outside, but I don't want him to go outside because I don't want him to get eaten by our dogs. What I've noticed about the Touch 5 markers and the Copic markers is with the Touch 5 markers, as you're coloring something in, it's easy to notice the streaks, while with the Copics, you will notice streaks at first on like the first layer, but if you add more layers, the streaks will leave. Good examples I have over here. So this is actually my second piece that I did with the Copic markers, and you can tell on her shirt that you don't see any streaks. There are a little bit of streaks in the background, but that is because I had to speed through this piece because I just didn't have time to record it and finish it properly, so that's why you see those streaks in here. But at the bottom, you don't see them as much because it is a lighter color. Looking at the shirt, how many times I have layered and shaded it, there's not a lot of streaks that you can see, which I really like. While as with the Touch 5 markers, you can see a little bit of streaks here and there. The camera doesn't really pick it up as much as you could see it in person, so there's like a few areas. I know this piece I did use colored pencil in this, but you can just see a couple of streaks here and then like a little bit over here too. And I did redo this on a different sheet of paper, and you can tell that it did not want to blend together, especially on the grassy areas. That's the Touch 5 markers. Same goes with this one. This one turned out okay, but I was using a different piece of paper for this. Again, it's kind of difficult to try and blend the Touch 5 markers together, especially with colored pencils, I've noticed. And I will show examples of pieces that I use colored pencils with, both these ones and the Copic markers. So this illustration was with the Touch 5 markers. This is, let's see, it is 98-pound paper. It's mixed media paper. So this piece actually turned out really well with just the Touch 5 markers. It also depends on the type of paper that you use in order for both markers to work well. And so this piece is a good example that these Touch 5 markers work really well. You just have to find the right paper, and I think I did use colored pencils in this piece as well. And there are some spots where you can see streaks, like here you can kind of see the streakiness, and I have layered on the marker multiple times in order to get rid of them, but they didn't leave. So this gives you kind of an idea of how well these markers work, and they're pretty cheap, so they actually do a good job. Like I said, it just depends on the paper that you get. And of course you can still see some streakiness. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. And then here I actually drew Edna with the Copic markers, and I really loved how this turned out. The markers blended in so well that I don't know, I just love this piece. Like, her hair is supposed to look like how it is in like the movie and everything. While as with the Touch 5 markers, sometimes they don't want to blend with each other. I like that. It kind of blends well, but at the same time it just feels like it's a solid color, and then it goes straight to like that light color, so it doesn't give it that, you know, like ombre effect where it goes from dark to light. So both markers are well, but I do prefer the Copic markers because of that, because they don't leave streakiness as much as the Touch 5 markers do. And I did use the same paper for both of these, and you can just tell that this just blends well together. Even though you can still see the streakiness from this, you can see how it blends pretty well. Again, it was my fault because I only layered it once, while with these I actually had to layer multiple times, and it just, I don't know, it just looks like it goes from a dark color and then a solid color. It doesn't really blend together. So one thing that I have noticed about these markers, and I've actually posted about this on my social media when I got the markers, is there are actual spelling mistakes on these markers. I think I have two. Yes, I have two that are spelt wrong. So I will also take a picture of this so you guys can actually see up close. This one is list blue, and this one is potato brow. This is potato brown. So there is no N for brown, and instead of an I, they put an L, which it's like, what? What is this? If you're selling markers, make sure everything is spelt correctly. I haven't noticed any other markers that were spelt wrong. Maybe I have like 3 or 4 more markers that are misspelt, and these are just the ones that I have noticed. And like I said, I have posted about this on my social media, and the chart that I have for these markers, to look at like the color chart, on there it's spelt correctly, but on the markers it's not. So I don't know what's going on there. These ones, on the other hand, the markers that I have, everything is spelt correctly from what I know of. I haven't seen any spelling mistakes on these, which I know it's not a big deal if something is misspelt, but I don't know, I just thought it was kind of interesting. I mean, these are the cheap markers, and I did get them from China, while these ones, where are they manufactured? I don't know. These ones, they don't have any spelling mistakes. So from my experience, I do prefer the square marker over the rounded marker. I don't know if I just need to get used to working with Copics, but I still do prefer the square ones, because the round ones, I feel like it's just too long, like going this way, and I feel like it's just hard to, you know, color something in. But like I said, I think I'll get used to it. It's mainly because I can't really turn the marker as I'm working, because that's what I usually do, is if I'm coloring, I would turn it, color, turn it again and color, and like this area kind of bothers when I'm holding it this way, even though you're just supposed to hold it at an angle like this. Whereas with this, if I turn it, it doesn't matter. It feels the same on all 4 sides. And like I said, it's probably because I just need to get used to working with Copic markers and whatnot. I'm also not used to the brush nib on the Copic markers, and I'm just so used to using the little fine point on these more than these, and hopefully I can get used to it, because this is like a brush pen and it's like a paintbrush pretty much, and I need to try and get used to that. Some pictures that I have colored in with the Copics. I did go outside of the lines, but then again, that was my fault because I'm not used to the brush pen. One thing I would want for the Copics to have is that fine point instead of the chiseled nib. That is something that I would have preferred more, because then you can get into the little nooks and crannies without, you know, accidentally nicking and going over the lines as I would with this. And so that's what I wish they had on these. So they all have very unique colored names. I've also noticed there's, let's see, there is Rose Salmon. Like, that is a pretty interesting name for a marker. And then there is Phthalo Blue, Peacock Blue, and that goes with these markers too. Like, there's a marker called Peacock Blue and Phthalo Blue. Like, both of them have very interesting color names. And then there's Fruit Pink for the Touch 5 markers, Pale Lilac, and with the Copics there's Lemon Yellow, and then Lime Green. I mean, those are basic names for colors, but like, they just have very interesting names, and that's what I really like about both of them. And so now moving on to the markers that I have that are similar to one another but just different brands, if that makes sense. So I have my Copic and my Touch 5 Cool Gray number 3, and then I have Cool Gray number 5. And what's interesting is with the Touch 5 markers, they have CG. This one has GG. Another mistake. It says GG instead of CG, and it's on both caps too. What the heck? Why? Oh, this is green gray. That is my fault. Whoops. Okay, never mind. We're all good. That was my mistake. Okay. This one is a Cool Gray 5, and what I noticed is this one has CG number 5, and then it has the Cool Gray written on it, while as with the Copic marker it has a C and then a 5 and then the full name Cool Gray number 5, and they both have numbers on them. I don't know what the numbers are for these because they just, from the looks of it, they don't really go together. Not that I know of. I don't know. It feels like they just kind of don't blend the way you would with Copic markers. Like, you have the Y number 2, Y number 3, Y number 4, and from there you can actually choose those colors in order to blend those colors together. While with these, that's not how it goes, which is really weird. They just have random numbers on it, except for the Cool Grays that I've noticed. It goes from 3 and then 4 and then 5, and it gets darker and darker. And this is Canneria Yellow, and then this one is Cannery Yellow. I don't know which one is misspelt. I think it's the Touch 5 markers because it is spelt with an IA, while this one is spelt with a Y. So I'm assuming this way is the right way to spell Cannery. I'm saying it correctly as well. And then I have Persian Blue, and then I have Yellow Green. So I'm actually going to try out those markers and see how different they are from each other. Also, a quick, I guess you could say, bleed test. They both bleed. Like, if you're just using the regular piece of paper, they both will bleed out because they are both alcohol-based markers. So if we use the Touch 5, just layer it on there because we want to get rid of those streaks. Yeah, you can kind of tell it's starting to bleed through just a smidge. Actually, it's not that bad on this piece of paper. That is very strange. Usually on regular pieces of paper, like this piece of paper is like a notepad paper type, you can kind of tell that the Copic marker is bleeding a little bit more than the Touch 5. I'm gonna use a Crayola marker for this because I am a rebel. This is Copic, and then this is Touch 5. You can kind of see that this one is bleeding just a little bit more than this one, which is very interesting. I will kind of do close up for you guys. So yeah, you can kind of tell the Copic is bleeding a little bit more than the Touch 5. So that means there is more alcohol in the Copic marker than the Touch 5 marker. But we have come to the end of this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Let me know which ones are your favorite, the Copics or the Touch 5. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you in my next video.